This is Jordan Tower with JT News. Make sure you smash that like button, smash that subscribe, and let's get right into the news. All right, so we got LA prosecutors say David bought 2 chainsaws under fake name Victoria Mendez after he stabbed his girlfriend. And then he stood as she bled out and then cut her up. I mean, that's crazy. This dude's insane, bro. Yeah, this is cold. This is cold-blooded, man. I don't know how he's going to beat these charges. His lawyer thinks he's going to beat his charges, but I think every lawyer says stuff like that. Jim Jones, bro, this guy's just like aimlessly just trying everything. He's streaming. He's trying to stream, run a studio, have some little fun house in the Bronx where he has like a million things going on. A podcast, then a private podcast, then what else is he doing? Trying to be a rapper still. Jay-Z just told him about, indirectly told him about, stop trying to be a young boy on the tracks when you're 50 years old. You got to say other things to relate to people. It's like Jim Jones is going out really sad, bro. Cameron, his jealousy for Cameron and everything, and the way he thought that going against Cameron with the 50 Cent thing was going to work and elevate his career. It's weird. Now he's showing people how to eat bananas on stream. I mean, yo, Kai Cenat really got people acting out, bro. I'm gonna tell you something. Like, he got when people saw how much money he was making, my gosh, bro, these people lost their minds. It wasn't when Mr. Beast did it. It was when Kai. It was Kai did it. I'm surprised they didn't start playing with toys on YouTube, like Ryan Toys. He makes millions of dollars a year. They should have just started playing with toys. All right, so Jay-Z, he's doing a slew of interviews. His latest one was New York Times. Someone pointed out he has a $5.4 million watch on that episode. I mean, he is a billionaire, but it's like he's really like making a push to drop music. He's going to definitely drop some music this year for sure. I wonder if this will be his last album. I mean, he's on his way to being 60. He's good, and he'll still sell 1 million records because Jay-Z does not take an L. It'll be attached to some brand. It'll be like, I think now that he sits on the Block, he sits on Block's board. That's Cash App and Square. I bet you they'll do something with Cash App, where Cash App will buy the 1 million records, and he'll be straight. This is let's see, Joe Budden. This is Joe Budden's ex, Tahiri. For her to be getting interviewed on Joe and Jada, it's weird. Like, what does she do? Nothing. She's just Joe's ex-girl, and she cheated on Joe with Drake. I mean, that's why Joe Budden hates Drake so much. What does she have to offer? Oh, I was a bottle girl back in the day when you couldn't buy a body. Tahiri, stop telling old bottle girl stories, wearing that cheap fur flamingo, whatever that is. Come on, stop. Party sends a message to Meg Thee Stallion, claims she played in his face with the baby and Tory Lanez. That's old. He just reposted it, but I guess he's just trolling because, everything that's going on. Cardi B, see, this is all orchestrated. Cardi B says Jay-Z is as significant as a bacon, egg, and cheese in New York City. Okay, yes. Everybody knows about Jay-Z, right? And he's a staple in New York City. But this is coming at a time where Jay-Z is trying to make this big impact with music this year. So don't think that this stuff isn't all orchestrated by Rock Nation's PR team, all right? All this is. I can't believe French Montana had to do this. He did this like cross promotion with this company to get his teeth redone in Turkey. Like French is married to a princess. I don't think you had to do a promo to get your teeth done, but he did. Money Man shows more money. He says, "Guess how much it is? You can have it." This is Money Man. I mean, his name is Money Man, so he does have to show off money. Let's be real. Boosie. What was he? Oh, yeah. He goes off like he is tight. All this talking about him with the Vlad situation. Now, him and Vlad, I'm sure they'll be cool again soon. But I don't know. He's going off about the Charleston White situation. He does not like Charleston White going back up to Vlad, and that's going to cause a big strain between him and Vlad for him coming back. But also, I don't know, man. Boosie just doesn't. I think he's really upset because I don't think a lot of people bought his interview as much as he thought he did. I think about 2,000 people bought it. You can see how many people signed up. Let's say all 2,000 people bought it, right? That's like 12 grand. It's half. He's gonna have to drop another part and another part just to make that money. And he'll just make the 25 probably after expenses. I think he'll be back with Vlad in like 6 months, but he'll continue to do this. And I think that maybe he'll learn from what Tony Yayo's doing. Tony Yayo has a podcast now with Uncle Murder, and they have the same kind of deal that Joe and Jada do under the same company, right? Just not the same amount of money yet, but they're doing that. And then Tony Yayo's still doing Vlad. He just did an interview with Vlad. We'll get to that in a second. And it's like cross promotion, and that's the smart way to do it. You just add more revenue to it. Stephen A. Smith and Steve Stout get into it. Steve Stout calls him a cloud chaser for talking about the Meg thing and trolling other people, trolling politics and this and that. Steve Stout's a cloud chaser. He goes on there and disses people like Core Mega and calls out all kinds of different people. I think he called out Irv Gotti once. He calls out... Who else did he call out? He calls out tons of different rappers. 50 Cent, this person. He goes on different platforms and does that to cloud chase. Steve Stout is a cloud chaser. Listen, that's part of just going on... Listen, that's just part of these interviews. Like, if you want to have an interview talked about, they go on there and specifically mention certain things so people talk about it. So does Stephen A. Smith. Steve Stout does the same thing. But the difference is Stephen A. Smith is a journalist. That's part of the whole thing. You have debate. Cameron agrees that Drake is needed in music. He says no disrespect to Kendrick, like Drake is basically needed. And then Tony Yayo goes on. He talks about how Ari Spears wasn't grateful for the opportunity. It turned his whole thing up. He agreed with Vlad and, promoted his podcast and had a lot of good things. That's how I know Boosie's coming back. Everyone has good things to say about Boosie. It's just that, things got lost in translation with Boosie. Boosie's very selfish, okay? They're just not saying that, but Boosie's very selfish. He doesn't care about how much Vlad's making and this. Boosie wants all the money for himself. He doesn't want to share it. So all Vlad has to do is keep it more business with Boosie. That's it. And Vlad did launch Vlad stocks. If you guys know, I think it's like $50 a month, but he shows you his portfolio and teaches you how to trade stocks, which is always good to know. I wonder if Drake's going to pop out during this French Montana and Rick Ross versus. I wonder if they're gonna make up there because I'm gonna tell you something. Maybe not because Rick Ross was just dissing him, but it is around the time he's about to drop his album, and I'll tell you, both of these guys benefited from working with Drake a lot. It kept their brands alive in between records. Drake kept French alive until he got the Sway Lee record. Kept Rick Ross alive over the years with Buzz. Yes, these guys all have solo records that are great too, but I'm just saying, like, the Drake package definitely comes in handy. Pause, you know. So I wonder if he'll pop out. We'll see. Anyways, this is Jordan Tower with JT News. Make sure you smash that like button, smash that subscribe button. I'll check you guys in the next one. Peace.